Hi, it's Marcus and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at not one, but two different ballad songs. I put a poll up on Instagram and Reddit and it was split so close down the middle that I said, fuck it, we'll just look at both of these in the same review and talk about them both because they're both really great in their own unique ways. I wouldn't say either one is necessarily the best ballad song ever. That's still my personal favorites, The Monarch. And I know everyone's got their own favorites in the Grail range especially. But either way, these are both worth talking about. And since it was split so close, I figured we'll just do both. So, obviously, if you haven't guessed by the title or your just general knowledge of ballad songs, we have the NRB Konig and the Machinewise SlifT. And I got really lucky, and this one is actually the toxic anodization done by XK Knives, who is without a doubt, I think the best modder for ballad songs. His work is absolutely fucking incredible. So first things first, we're going to be looking at the less expensive of these two knives, the Kraken competitor, for lack of a better word, the NRB Konig, seen here in stunning purple. These are aluminum handles and a blackened 440C stainless steel blade, sharpened by Adam Heibel, who makes a fine-ass blade. So, just some other little things about the Konig here. It is comparable to the Kraken. It's about $200, so it's not the most expensive knife. And as far as quality ballad songs go, it's definitely on the less expensive end of live blades that are just top quality rather than being Chinese knockoffs or, you know, garbage that you find like Bear & Sons. No offense to them, but not great. The other really great thing about the Konig, other than its construction, which is again channeled aluminum with Zinn pins, is this right here. This is the weight system that it has. It has a modular weight system, and in my opinion, it is so much better than the Tsunami's modular weight system because I can change the weights right here and now without having to take my entire knife apart, which is, fuck. We got it. Which is obviously one of the big problems that I had with the Tsunami was that the weight system is just, it's a pain. It's really nice and there's no looseness of anything, but it's a pain. You have to take the knife apart and that's just not great, which is why actually I'll be looking at the Tsunami again without the actual knife itself. But we'll be going over the Tsunami and talking about it some more because after I spent some more time with knives, I dropped the fucking weight pin again. Nothing can fix Butterfingers, and unfortunately that's what I've got right now is Butterfingers. I could probably edit this down so I'm not dropping in and out of frame, but I don't want to do that. Because everyone here knows at this point, I think, that I just do long, continuous, one-take rambling videos. So the weight here is just this tiny little stainless steel weight. There's different sizes. These can all change the general balance of the knife. And they screw right in here so easily. And there's no noise, there's no clacking, nothing rattles around, which is what Lucas claimed the goal with the Tsunami's weight pin system was a really snug fit, so there wasn't a lot of additional noise. But I just thought that was a huge pain. To have to take your knife apart completely means you essentially couldn't Loctite it unless you were okay with breaking down the Loctite every time you wanted to try a new configuration. And for being modular, it wasn't. I mean, I guess technically it was. It just wasn't convenient. So, moving past that. The SlifT, the Konig, maybe I should have done two at the same time. The Konig, I think, is really, really great. It's not the best knife, but it's a really good kind of starter top tier quality ballad song, right? You know, it's better than your Bear & Sons, like I said. It's better than your cheap Chinese crap. But it's definitely not as well tuned as something like the SlifT or a Sentinel or obviously the Grail tier knives, the Alien, the Monarch, the Planarian, and on and on. So it's really good, but it's not perfect. It's a little slippery, which seems to be a problem with a lot of aluminum knives. I haven't tried the Flytanium like aluminum handles for the Kershaw Lucha, but this and the Kraken were both just slippery, which, you know, it's not my favorite thing. Some people I think like a slightly slicker knife, a little bit more looseness to it, but I'm not a huge fan of it. The other issue I had was that it came with a not insignificant amount of play, even with the screws and pivots cranked all the way down. It does run on bushings though, so the play is not going to get any worse. And there's no tap, but it's a little bit more play than I'm used to in straight out of the box knives, which I don't know if I just got unlucky or if because these are produced in a higher volume, if they're just not going to have the same level of tune. And that's what I would take. That's my guess that I'm going to go ahead and hazard. But the finish of the knife, the actual like purple, is incredible. I've already dropped this one a couple of times, so it's got some dings on it, which is not great, but that's my own fault. And the blackened blade is just incredible with this Tonto harpoon-esque shape. It's really one of the most unique blade shapes, and I really do like it. The balance is relatively neutral, I mean, as is kind of typical for a lot of knives at this point, I would say. And it, as you can hear in this clip and in the other clips, it's a little clacky sounding. I know some people really love the sound. I don't really love that. I didn't love the cracking sound. I prefer knives with a little bit more ring to them. But you know, to each their own. It's not the best sound, but it's not the worst sound. So it is what it is. Although that's not too terrible sounding now that I'm popping that off. Next, we'll take a look at the SlifT. Also, razor sharp, which I love. Sorry, totally forgot to throw that in. The blade came absolutely razor sharp. So overall, this is a pretty great knife for the price range. It's definitely worth picking up if you're looking for something that's a little bit more beater worthy and a little bit more daily use. Don't have to worry about ruining a, you know, several $100 knife. But it is aluminum and it's kind of shrill. But overall, it's good. It's not amazing. In my tier video, I'd probably toss this in around an A or a B tier, somewhere in there. It's really good. It's not perfect, but I really do enjoy it. It's fun. I don't think I'll necessarily be getting rid of this one anytime soon, just because it's nice to have a knife that I don't have to worry about in the slightest. The aluminum's durable, the blade's durable, and it flips really nicely. It's smooth. What else can you ask for? So next, we'll be looking at the knife that I'm much more excited for, and that is the Machinewise SlifT. Already, the sound is better. And the style of blade is this really nice machined Bowie blade, and it came also razor sharp. It is a really gorgeous knife, and I have very few bad things to say about it. The SlifT is long, which I do really appreciate. It's about 3.9 ounces too, if I remember correctly. And here it is side by side with the Konig. You can see it's significantly longer, both in blade and handle, and I do really prefer that. It is by far, I think, the longest balisong I've owned, even compared to the PDN or the Tsunami. And it feels really nicely balanced. Something about the weight distribution along the length with the slimness of it makes it feel heavier than it actually is without feeling too heavy. Because again, it's 3.9 ounces. It's a very light knife. The sound is really phenomenal. Channel titanium handles with Zen pins and an S35EM blade, right? So these are some top tier materials, phenomenal construction, absolutely no play. That is me forcing that by pushing. That's probably not the best thing in the world, but the actual knife itself, there's no play. The bushings are phenomenally tuned, and the balance is just wonderful. The only slight criticism I would have is I prefer hidden Zen pins, so I think they make the handles a bit prettier. But obviously, I'm not going to complain too much about Zen pins that you can see right there. It's also just a tad slippery, and I don't know if that's because of the finish on it or the anodization or whatever. I guess that's kind of well, no, because it's jeweled. So, but either way, it's a tad slippery, but that's really not too bad. It's nowhere near as slippery as in like a Kraken or a Konig, and it looks absolutely incredible. I really, really love the toxic anode that XK did. It is so nice looking. It is vibrant and unique, and just especially in the light with the jeweling, it's incredible. The really amazing thing about this knife is that these, even with the XK finish, retail for less than $400, which makes them essentially a must-have ballot song in my opinion. The fact that it is an S35V steel blade, it has a phenomenal tune. It has gorgeous handles that feel great, you know, with this nice hole pattern that's very grippy with the jimping here. And even if you get a non-XK finished one, the anodizations are still wonderful looking. Machinewise really knocked it out of the park on this. I would compare it to a Marin, but I haven't actually had a chance to try either the Marin Light or the Thai Marin. So I wish I had, so I could give you a more accurate comparison to those two. But overall, we're talking about top tier materials for a really pretty reasonable price. You know, especially when you look at something like the Sentinel, which a lot of people use as like the top like $500 or under knife, better blade steel. You know, this is what I'm talking about when I've criticized the Sentinel for its blade steel being 440C. Is that's not a premium blade steel. It's a blade steel you use in something like a Konig for $200, right? It's not bad, but it's something you put in a less expensive knife. Whereas this uses S35VN, which is just, it's more durable, it's a better steel. And that's why I don't quite understand the Sentinel pricing. And I've seen a lot of people make a lot of excuses for it, but I really think the Sentinel is slightly overpriced for what you get. It's a great knife, but the materials could be better. Although I'm sure the price are going to go up even more since they are essentially being discontinued. That's a little ranty, tangential that I didn't need to go off on to. But getting back to it, apart from the slipperiness, I really have no issues with the SlifT. It's smooth, it's light, it sounds great, it looks great, it's sharp. It feels easy. It is without a doubt the best ballad song in the price range, and is honestly, it's comparable to some Grail knives in my opinion. It's comparable to a few Grail knives, such as the Planarian, without being anywhere near that price range. So really, if you have a chance to pick up either one of these, you should absolutely pick them up. This is for sure an easy S tier knife. There is not a doubt in my mind that the SlifT is an S tier knife. It feels so great. It is top tier. Between this and the Monarch, it's really hard to go back to any other knife. At least in terms of channel knives. I still have a big old soft spot for the PDN. But between these two, they're both worth picking up. If you're looking for something a little bit less expensive, the NRB Konig is really great. Especially the handles are so flashy and so nice, and the blade shape is incredible. I really cannot get over this blade shape here. It is so just different compared to everything else on the market. And then in terms of just a great top tier ballad song at an amazing price point, the Machinewise SlifT cannot be beat. It is so phenomenally tuned, so gorgeous sounding, beautifully finished, sharp. The Bowie blade is really, really nice. It's just, I mean, like I said, the one slight critique is that I wish the Zen pins were hidden. But even then, having the Zen pins visible has its own, you know, pros and cons to it. So basically, both of these are great. I massively prefer the SlifT. Both are worth picking up though, especially if you're looking for one price point or the other. And both makers are ridiculously talented and were nice to talk to for the brief little conversations that I've had. Which obviously doesn't really matter except for the fact that I, you know, obviously don't like certain knife makers or Works. But enough rambling. Thank you for watching. Go, if you have a chance to pick up either one of these knives, pick them up. And at some point, I'll be doing an actual Sentinel review. I've got an NRB finished Sentinel coming because NRB's handles are just amazing. And I'll be looking at a Fellowship Blades Medusa that I got lucky enough to get in a partial trade. And still have a Paradigm to look at whenever that rolls around, when it's my turn to pass around. We've got the Reaper. Telesto should be ready at some point, hopefully. Those are going to be absolutely amazing, I think. And then we'll be taking a look at my Monarch when it gets back from its spa day with JK, because that's where it's at right now. Getting it finished or tuned up to better than mint condition, because I didn't receive that one brand new. So I'd really like it to have just an absolute razor sharp edge and a more perfect tune than it already had. It had some play, and I don't know if that was just because I got unlucky or if that's because of the previous owner, but either way, it's going in for a little spa day, and so I'm excited to get that one back. Obviously, this is a Will Hirsch merch right here. If you subscribe to Will Hirsch, then definitely pick this up, and if you don't, go do that. He's obviously probably the best ballad song channel that there is. So, little plug for a fellow creator, I guess, although that's like comparing apples to Apple computers. So anyways, thanks again for watching. That's enough rambling from me. I really need to script my videos. I know I won't, though. We all know that I won't. Thank you for all the kind words in the comments that have been left. If you don't feel like saying something nice, then just don't say anything at all. Leave one of the new invisible downvotes and get to it. I'll be back next month, maybe, with a new video. Or maybe sooner, depending on how fucking cool the Medusa ends up being. Thanks again. Sorry again, this was on the really, really long side. I don't know how to end videos. Okay, bye.